eSports as we get ready to start the season in style. This is Kevin Harlan with Clark Kellogg, Greg Anthony, our sideline reporter, the Hall of Famer David Aldridge. And with pregame routines coming to an end, we're just about ready for our tip.
Well, Kevin Durant is much improved as a defender, and maybe it's some overdue appreciation, at least as he sees it. He said, people are starting to recognize me as more than just a scorer. I've been trying to shake that rap since 2012. I look to impact the game on both ends of the floor. Kevin, back to you.
A two-way player to be sure, D.A. Thanks. And, Bill, through your column, you became known as the Boston sports guy, very connected to your readers. Talk about the fan loyalty in the city of Boston.
Well, the biggest thing is the cold weather. And when it's cold, you really have to attach yourself to certain things. So in Boston, it's the 4 sports teams, and they get you through some cold winters and some 100-degree summers.
And those are terrific teams, too, aren't they?
Usually been good. The knock on wood, Boston's had some good luck over the years. Real little dry spell in the 90s, but other than that, 70s, 80s, 2000s, 2010s, it's been great.
Here are the starters for Brooklyn. We got DeAndre Jordan, LeVert out there with Kyrie Irving. Then there's Harris, and it's Durant in at the 4 spot. Bill, you know the Celtics so well. What were your first reactions when you heard about the Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen trades?
Well, the Ray Allen trade, I was upset because that was the 5th pick in the draft, and we had just not gotten Kevin Durant or Greg Oden, and it just seemed like they were treading water for 44 wins, but that set up the Kevin Garnett trade. And then it's like, oh, my God, this team might actually win the title, and then they did.
And the chemistry between those three, including Paul Pierce, amazing.
Amazing. Not as amazing recently. I think it got a little less amazing, and there was some feuding with Ray Allen and Rondo and stuff. But in 2008, amazing.
It was terrific. And a title.
Yeah, 1 title. Should have been 2.
Should have been 2.
2009 was actually a better team, and KG got hurt.
These players pay attention to a lot of ratings, especially the 2K ratings. And I know Kyrie Irving was maybe a little bit surprised at his 2K rating.
I did a podcast with him last summer, and he was really upset that he only got a 90 in 2K, and I think he might have actually called the game to complain, like it was a parking ticket, and got it raised to a 93, but like was openly talking, not ashamed, just was really, really, really offended by the 90 rating.
Yeah.
And I got to say, I was offended, too, listening to him. But Kyrie's at least a 95. Come on, 2K, get your stuff together.
They will. They got you on the show.
Yeah, sure. Maybe now that I'm here, though.
Raise that level.
Yeah, it's about time.
Bill, we know when you're writing that you love to incorporate pop culture references. How did that begin with you?
Well, it began because in college, I was dropping them in columns, and people were responding. I think pop culture probably mattered more when I was in college in the 80s and 90s because, you know, we didn't have the internet back then. It was harder to connect with people you didn't know. Basically, you had sports and pop culture and politics. Those were the 3 ways of I'm getting to know you. What are the 3 things we're going to talk about? I didn't want to talk about politics with anybody, so the other 2 things for me were sports, pop culture. I was also an only child in the 70s with only 5 or 6 TV channels watching Brady Bunch, Partridge Family, Sanford and Son, Jefferson's, Good Times, all that stuff. And, you know, that stuff just soaks into your DNA, and that's it.
Walker looking for an opening. Passes to Tatum. Trying to find Canner. Gets it to him. A shot by Hayward. Wide open. Bangs home the trifecta. Hayward's got 6 points.
Hey, I tell you what, the contest on that shot was lacking. Very subpar, which is why the shooter buried.
Irving against Walker. Irving kicks to Harris. There's the feed to Durant. Over Tatum. Out to Harris. 6 to shoot. The basket good off the assist from Durant.
Well, check out that assist. That's a pair of teammates that are clearly on the same page.
Walker with it. Left side, Smart. From outside the arc.
On defense, LeVert showing great versatility. I mean, this guy's doing a nice job getting his hand up in the face of shooters.
And still a close game as the first quarter comes to a close. Celtics lead by 3. throws have been a struggle for DeAndre Jordan. He was asked if he'd ever consider shooting them underhanded like some have done in the past.
I haven't. I've never tried it. I've never secretly tried it in practice or anything like that. I think I'm going to try to shoot it regular for a while. And if that's my last resort, then so be it.
You know, he's made some progress with his unusual method, though.
Yeah, him, Drummond, Capella, a lot of the guys who were getting the hack-a-shack treatment have made great strides.
And some good action in the books as we get back to the game that's been pretty close here so far. And what do you guys think about Boston here in this one?
Just playing suffocating defense. That's been the difference here for them.
You know, Greg, I love watching this team get after it on defense. I mean, they play with a bit of edge and nastiness.
And now, brought to you by Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset our lineups. On the floor for Boston, they've got ABC. He's out there with Edwards. ABC is out there with Jaylen Brown. And it's Tice in at the 4 slot.
I think that's where Brown is at his best, guys. He's a muscular athlete who loves finishing strong through contact.
Bill, a top advisor for the U.S. High School Athletics and Activities Division, recommended that schools adopt eSports programs. What's your take on that?
I'm all in. It's probably my son's only chance to go to college, so I really hope it happens. Now, listen, the world changes every decade, and you got to change with it. And the reality is, eSports is one of the biggest things we have now. And if you're under 15, you're way more likely to play video games and be good at that than you are to do anything else. So why wouldn't we be able to benefit from that? The whole esports in general, just the audiences they're getting, and as a spectator event, that's been building. So why wouldn't that work for college?
The second he got around the pick and shook his man, it was straight to the bucket for the easy deuce. Very, very well done.
Dinwiddie's shot is off. Celtics leading by 6. Thinking about how much sports video gaming has changed over the decades, Bill. Can you imagine a 13, 14-year-old Bill Simmons with the 2K product? You would just be all over that, wouldn't you?
You have no idea, Kevin Harlan. I was there for every step of the video game revolution. I had a television and an Atari. I had Nintendo. I had Super Nintendo. I had all 3 of the first PlayStations.
You played them all the time.
I played entire Madden seasons on the treadmill when I was like in my early 30s. Try playing any video game on the treadmill. Try it and try not falling off. It's impossible. I've been there every step of the way. I am pro esports. Basketball, I'm jealous of the people who can play 2K well, because there's just, that sounds like an old guy, but so many buttons and so many things to remember. I'm always so impressed when people just remember all the combinations and stuff. I'm jealous.
Like your son does it.
My son can
plays
do it.
Again. I know it.
But I could have done it. I know you could have. I want to take 1984 me out of a time machine and just give me this game. I would have unleashed.
Yeah, but 13-year-old Bill Simmons would like what 40-year-old Bill Simmons is.
13-year-old Bill Simmons would be amazed that 48-year-old Bill Simmons was getting paid to do anything. He'd really be excited about that. Just that he wasn't living at home. We would have been fired up.
Always full of terrific insights. Bill Simmons, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you. My insights, thank you as well.
And Clark, always great to have Bill with us, a content creator who really taps into what the audience is thinking.
Could not agree with you more. Amen to all of that, Kevin. He's got a very loyal fan base and readers and viewers that share his vision, not just on sports, but on life. And that strong connection he has with them is admirable.
Looking at who's out there now for the Celtics. Jason Tatum, he's checked in for Brown. Smart comes in for ABC. And Walker subbed in for Edwards. And a new group in for the Nets. Second quarter of play with almost 3 minutes gone. Walker the pass to Ojala. No good, unable to end this run. Here's Hollis Jefferson. Williams with the block.
A main staple in Williams' game, that sixth sense for when to rise up and deter those shots.
9 seconds left in the first half of basketball. Right side Durant over Hayward. And oh, he hits the buzzer beater.
Great awareness of the clock to end the quarter.
That's just really good clock management there. I mean, that's how you close a quarter.
And that's it for the first half of action. What's been a very close game here. Brooklyn ahead as they go on a 10-0 run to end the period. And a chance now to send it over to David Aldridge, standing by courtside.
Thanks, Kevin. Here with Brad Stevens. Coach, what did you think of your team's energy in the first half?
I think the energy's fine. I thought we did look a little gassed at the end of that first stint for some of our starters, but I thought for the most part it was good.
Thanks very much, Coach. Back to you, Kevin.
All right, David, thank you. We'll be back after halftime for the start of the third quarter.
The 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Ernie Johnson here with Shaq and Kenny, and a favorite time of the year as we're halfway through one of the first games of this fresh NBA season. Brooklyn found themselves in a close game in the first. They kept at it on both ends of the floor, and at the end of the period, they had a slight deficit of 3 points. They took control of the game in the second quarter, coming back to take a 2-point lead into the locker room with them. And from what we saw so far from the Nets, Kenny, what's your takeaway?
I was surprised on how comfortable they seemed here on the road. The hostile crowd, that didn't bother them at all. And I want to see if they can keep that up.
And that'll about do it as we get ready for the second half. Let's take you down to Kevin Harlan.
Shout out to my main man, Joel.
Joel, what up?
Never a shortage of motion on Soldiers Field Road as we welcome you back to historic Boston. And if you're just joining us, we've played through the first half in a game that's been fairly even so far. Nice game, great performance by Harris.
And when everyone's keying on you, you have a choice. Become passive or just work that much harder. He consistently chooses the latter.
And, you know, Greg, that's the kind of effort you see from great players. I mean, the will, just unrelenting will, not backing down.
Setting the floor for the Nets. Allen is out there with Caruch. Then it's Allen Crabb, and it's Dinwiddie in at the point guard position. 3 on the clock. Durant, no good.
And gotta like what they've been doing down low in the post.
I certainly do. You know, I like to see guys do their work inside. Their rebounding has been excellent, and that's always important in a close game.
Now Walker uses the glass to finish the layup. Walker's got it all tied up now for the Celtics. Clark, you were drafted 8th overall by the Indiana Pacers. Do you have any indication that you were going to be their pick in particular, that you were going to go in that slot? Was there any kind of inkling at all?
No, I only visited with teams drafting 4 through 7. Talked to the Chicago Bulls, the Dallas Mavericks, and I read some of the reports about where I was projected. But you know what? Once you get past the first or second, sometimes the top 3 picks in a draft, you really don't know who's going where after that. So I was fortunate. I landed in a good spot.
Right.
And Indianapolis was a good place for me and Rosie to be as I started my NBA career.
It sure was. Tatum kicks to Hayward. Takes the assist and lays it in. Picked out the pass nicely. Hayward's got 8 points.
Yeah, I like how Tatum surveys the floor. Great at looking for his teammates, especially when they're open.
And Durant gets it to go. Durant's got the lead, back up to 2 now for Brooklyn.
That's the kind of aggressive and assertive play they need as we get closer and closer to crunch time.
Cantor finds Walker. Doesn't get it to drop for him. For Brooklyn, they've gone 2 of 3 from the field to start the second half. And it's Durant missing.
Boy, incredible effort on defense, refusing to give him an uncontested layup. Nothing easy.
Plenty of daylight on that shot. 10 points for Gordon Hayward.
Always enjoy solid, good passing, easily setting up his teammate. Does not get any easier than that.
And the first timeout called of the game for Brooklyn.
And Gordon Hayward is a player who's always found a way to add something to his game. Now he feels comfortable going at a defense either inside or out. Great strength when attacking the rim and can shrug off those defenders.
some changes here for the Celtics. Williams is checked in for Enes Kanter. Daniel Tice comes in for Gordon Hayward. And Jaylen Brown subbed in for Smart. And then for Brooklyn, DeAndre Jordan's checked in for Caruch. Harris comes in for Cram. And Irving subbed in for Spencer Dinwiddie. Brown kicks to Walker. Over Irving. And he overshot that one, missing.
Very dangerous to leave a guy like that open. Lucky break there for the D.
Tatum against Durant. Count the basket. Durant's got the lead up to 2 now for Brooklyn.
And that's not nearly the kind of defense that's going to prevent a player of his ability from scoring.
And we just finished the third quarter, and we've got a tight ball game here. Brooklyn ahead. They lead by a bucket. And time for the short break, and stay right where you are. The fourth quarter is coming up next. And it's time to bring up the State Farm assist of the game.
And the definition of teamwork right there, guys. I mean, what great communication between them, and what a beautiful feed.
For me, next to the big-time alley-oops and monster throwdowns, passes like that are probably the next best thing when it comes to sweet-looking NBA highlights.
We've reached the fourth quarter, and what has been a very competitive game should be an exciting finish. We've got Tatum, Brown out there with Williams, and it's Tice in at the power forwards position. That's who's in the game for the Celtics. Walker's shot is off.
Yeah, that's just poor decision-making. He's got to be better in those situations.
Greg, I just think he was in a hurry. He flat-out rushed it. I mean, I don't know what he was thinking there. He actually was in a brain-neutral position.
Pass to Tice. There's the double team with Allen. Stolen by Durant. On the wing, Irving. Here's Jordan. The 8-footer. And Irving with the basket on the assist by Jordan. And the Nets lead by 6.
And, you know, Kevin, they count on him to provide offense, and he knows how to fill it up.
Up top, Walker. He's covered by Irving. And Walker kicks to Tatum. Over Durant. Tatum's shot is off.
Not pretty. You just got to shake off a miss like that.
Here's Irving. And he's fouled pretty hard on that shot, but he's got the chance to pick up the points at the line.
I don't know if there's a player in the league that has better handles than Kyrie Irving. As a matter of fact, his handles are as good as any I've seen in the history of the game. Smooth, crafty, cunning. Man, it is so much a joy to watch this guy do his thing.
Looking at who's out there now for the Celtics. Cantor checked in for Williams. Gordon Hayward comes in for Daniel Tice. And Smart subbed in for Brown. That is good. And the Nets lead is cut to just 5 on the basket from Tatum. Irving against Walker. Irving passes to Durant. 1:14 left in the fourth quarter, and it goes down 2 points.
And that's what the pump fake's there for. Get your man off his feet and drive right around him.
Now here's Walker. Here's Smart. It's in! Oh, and that cuts the lead to just 5.
And it's all about the release when you shoot the flow.
Allen finds Durant. There's 49 seconds left to play here in the fourth. Laid in with a nice touch off the glass.
Not surprised at all. He's shooting it well and scoring points in bunches.
Now a timeout called by Boston. They're trailing by 7. There's 48 seconds left in the fourth quarter. And now we get a chance to check out our Jordan Player of the Game.
Yeah, and his percentage from the field tonight, just amazing. He hadn't just been gunning. He's been picking his spots, and you need that kind of patience and discipline to shoot as well as he had.
He's really seemed to feed off the hostile environment he's been faced with tonight. And keeping us updated from the sideline, let's swing it over to David Aldridge.
Hey guys, well, I was able to listen in on what Brad Stevens was talking about with his players. And even though they're down, he was confident. He said, look, guys, I've got all the confidence in the world in you. We've been down this road before. You know what we need to do. Kevin, let's see if they can overcome this deficit.
Thank you, David.
I think these are the shots he's got to avoid taking. I mean, already struggling. He's not helping his team right now looking at those shots.
Irving passes to Allen, and stolen by Hayward. Off the mark. And so it's Brooklyn with the win. They seem to relish their role as the bad guy here tonight.
You know, Kevin, I sense that as well. I mean, they really did feed off all of that negative energy this crowd was directing at them. I mean, they turned it around and used it as motivation to close out a significant win.
It's time now to go courtside as we send you over to David Aldridge from the sideline. David, take it away.
Thank you, Kevin. DeAndre, what do you think this team's identity is this season?
You know, we just have so many guys that can score. It's going to be somebody's night every night, like I keep saying. But we're also, our half-court offense is getting a lot better.
The ball is moving around, DeAndre. Thanks for your time. Kevin?
David, thank you as always. And that about does it for the first game of the new NBA season. For David Aldridge, Greg Anthony, and Clark Kellogg, this is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for being with us. So long and good night, everyone.